Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ahmed Hafez from ScholarsDental. Welcome back, and in this video we want to talk about the recent announcement from the NDEB regarding its new vision in 2022 and moving forward. This week I made two videos. It's the second video, so if you haven't seen the first one, go check that one out. It's about the cancellation and the December exam being void, and this is the second video, and this is new stuff here that happened just last week, so let's get right into it. So the NDEB is announcing a new vision. You can see here it's saying Vision 2022, the future for the NDEB equivalency process. So I went through this, and we're going to talk about pretty much. They're saying it's 3 steps, but I'm looking at it as 4 things, and analyze how these affect. And I've been hearing a lot of people and a lot of applicants talking about how it's affecting them. But there's some things I agree with, some things I don't. So we're going to analyze it together. Okay. So going through this entire thing, you'll see that it's kind of summarized to reduce, change, and develop. That's what they're kind of talking about. Okay. So the first thing, let's look at our drawing pad here. So the first thing they're saying is reduced. So they want to reduce the number of the and it affects AFK. So they want to reduce the number of questions from 300 questions to 200 questions. And they said that based on their consultations with experts, that they can reduce this, and it doesn't affect how well or how strong the exam is in terms of, testing applicants, testing people on their knowledge. This is a good thing. I see it. Now, here's what people are saying. I'm hearing people talk about how that means it's more difficult or it's harder. How is that? See, this doesn't make sense. Now, you have to draw a line between when you're being realistic and when you're being negative, okay? And I'm not saying, this is be optimistic. This is like, there's nothing here that, this is better. This is better for an AFK applicant, okay? And again, like, why is everything that we see, if the NDEB does something, we see it as a negative? We always draw it as a negative way. This is a good thing, to go from 300 questions. If they went to 400 questions, I bet some students would have said, oh my God, that's a lot of questions, and so there's not, this is a good thing. That means instead of training, when you're practicing for the exam, instead of putting in 6 hours of testing, like when you're sitting in the exam for 6 hours, that's a lot of effort, that's a lot of energy, and that could affect how you answer questions. So if they reduce that by 30% and go down to 4 hours, man, that exam is comfortable. So you have 2 hours maybe for 100 questions, I'm assuming, and another 2 hours for the other 100 questions. I'm just guessing that maybe that's what they're going to do. But if you want to like kind of take the same ratios from before, that's what it would work as too, because that's how it would work out. So this is a good thing. Now, I've seen some people say, oh, that means you have less questions you could get wrong. No. Yeah, in numbers, but it's a percentage game, right? So you should answer the a certain percentage correctly. So it should be the same. Plus, it's still a competition between you and others. So you still have to be on the top of your batch. So if you, realistically, this doesn't affect the difficulty of the exam. If it does, it's just making it simpler for you and less energy, which could keep you up in a better concentration during the exam. That's all I could see. I see it as a good thing, okay? This doesn't make it more difficult to pass. If you're relying, that does not make sense, okay? It doesn't make it more difficult to pass. If you're saying that you're going to get, out of the 200, you're getting, let's say, now here's what people think. Well, in 300 questions, they could get 75 questions wrong because the passing rate is 75. So out of 100, you're allowed to get 25 questions wrong. So out of 300, you're allowed to get 75 questions wrong, right? That's incorrect anyway, because it's a scaling system, and it's not about the number of questions. It's about how well you perform compared to other students. So if you're on the top of if there's 1,000 people that took the exam, there's a formula. You could look it up on the NDEB and look at how the scaling system works. But basically, the summary of it is you want to be the top 40% of your batch. So it doesn't matter if you get 75 questions wrong or less or more. It matters is, did you do better than others? That's what it comes down to. Okay. Now you might look at it as, oh, with 200 questions, then I'm only allowed to get 50 questions wrong. So again, still incorrect, but it's the same percentage, because with 300 questions, you have to get 225 questions correct. Okay. And in 200 questions, you only have to get 150 questions correct. So guys, using this logic, you're not making sense. And the logic itself doesn't make sense. So even if I went with you and said, okay, you are right in your logic, I could come back and say, well, that means you have to get the right questions, you have to get them less too. So it's the same thing. Now, but I don't even agree with the logic, because it doesn't even matter the number of questions itself. It matters how you perform compared to other people taking the exam in the same year. So that's point one. I think this is a good thing. Okay, awesome. I think it's a good thing that the NDEB did this. Now, what was the other one? They said point two is, oh, by the way, let's talk about dates. I want to try and mention dates. This is starting 2021, guys. So the next exam in August is going to be 200 questions. So I'm excited to see what the protocol is going to look like. I do want to, once that comes out, I'll make a video for it, and we'll look into that. Okay. So 2021, we're going to get this 200 questions. Awesome. And it's still electronic. So we're still going to be in Prometric centers. Okay. Great. Point two is starting in 2022, and that you can't do ACJ and ACS at the same time, where that's the case right now. You have to do AFK first, as we all know, then ACJ. Then if you pass ACJ, you could do ACS. Everybody that's done a consult with me, and everyone that's attended the orientation, I'm already planning for you to do this. This is what I plan. This is the plan I make for most of my consults. I say do AFK, then you're going to end up doing ACJ, so you could kind of use that theory to benefit more for the ACJ. So the theory from the AFK you already studied, so you're going to use that in the judgment and the ACJ. Then when you pass that, you could do the ACS. And I think, honestly, I think the NDEB may have done this because they don't want people randomly booking the ACS. So they don't want people that just passed AFK, because I want this to be an open discussion and analyzing all the possibilities of why these are happening. So the people that passed AFK, now they could do both of these because they're afraid of missing the ACS. Even though they're doing the ACJ, they might book the ACS, and then if they feel like they're not ready, they'll just cancel a month before or two, right? So I'm thinking they did this to limit how many people are getting into the ACS. Now, an important note here, everyone, is that you want to remember, and this is a problem. Sometimes it's hard for the NDEB to manage all this. So think of this: the last ACS exam was in December 2019. Okay, the last ACS exam was in December 2019. Right now we're in Feb 2021. So we missed a full year of ACS. So the amount of students that are kind of waiting to get into the ACS have increased. Now, because there have been delays in AFK and cancellations in AFK, that means there's some people still, if you think about it, there are some people still stuck in this area and people stuck in this area. If you think about it, they're trying to limit the AFK people from becoming ACS people because the ACS is stuck. Okay, this could be also a thing they're thinking about. So imagine there's thousands of people in the ACS waiting to do it, and there's thousands of people in the AFK. If they allow the AFK people to do the AFK, then now they're going to have a lot more people for the ACS, and that's a problem maybe for them. So I'm just thinking, could that be another reason why they're, delaying AFK so that less people convert to the ACS exam? It could be, right? Um, and especially using this ACJ thing now, they're trying to, reduce the flow of people getting to the ACS. So that they're not over, people could get into like when they get to this phase, they could book the exam. They don't want people to be stuck here not being able to book the exam because of limited seating, right? So that's another thing. Okay. So yeah, sure. Basically, this is I think this is a natural way of going. This is like what I recommend to all my students anyway. Do AFK, do ACJ, then keep the ACS at the end because it's the biggest investment. Then you could do it. Okay. So this will start in 2022. Okay. So dates here, I'll mark them in green. Okay. Here's the date. This will start in 2021, we said. All right. So let's go to point 3. Okay, point 3. Okay, is the change in the ACS. This is kind of cool. The change in the ACS. So what are they changing? First of all, you're going to get unlimited attempts. Okay, so I think that's pretty great. Okay, unlimited attempts. Now, as a student said to me once, yeah, it's great, but I don't have unlimited, $9,000, right? They don't have unlimited cash, of course. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. The NDEB did not discuss if there's any change to the ACS exam price. So that's something we want to wait and see if it will change. Okay? So unlimited attempts. However, there's going to be no more E's. So if you fail one, if you get one E, you fail the exam. So yes, in this case, here, this is a valid point to say it is more difficult to pass. Right? So making it more difficult to pass because now you can't even fail one project. Yeah, but they tried to compensate for that by saying, well, you could take as many attempts as you want. Okay? So, I mean, it's kind of, yeah, it is harder to pass a single exam, but it's also more likely that you will eventually pass. Does that make sense? So again, it's up to you to, like, if you take courses and you prepare very well, hopefully you won't get an E, right? But yeah, so that means you should only go when you're confident that you're good enough, right? So again, another thing that limits people from taking the exam possibly, right? But it's compensated for if you look at the unlimited attempts, because the unlimited attempts is another reason, or would cause more booking for the exam. Now, here's the third thing that you gotta know. Actually, let me see. Actually, this is kind of linked. Sorry, this is the third thing. So they may introduce new requirements or new projects. Now, if you look in let me go back to the NDEB page here. Okay, so if you look here, so step 1, second step, so you could look here, they're saying the new ACS will introduce new requirements. Right there, you guys see it? Right here, yeah. So the ACS will introduce new requirements that will test skills required for general practitioners. Okay, so I'm thinking, does that mean like just the concept of not having E's, or does it mean new projects? I think it may mean new projects. So another thing we want to wait for and see what's happening. Now, guys, this is in 2022, so like it's not happening right now. So this is another change that's going to happen in 2022, right? So let's take here and circle this 2022. Awesome. That's why it's like a vision for 2022, right? Now, the fourth point, and the fourth point is kind of linked to the third point. So let's call it 3A. You want to call it 4, whatever. But the fourth point, or this next point, is pretty cool. It's that the NDEB is going to make an in-house, this is what they call it, ACS testing facility. Oh, do I have questions about this in my head? So it's in Ottawa. It's going to be in Ottawa. Okay. And now how does this affect us? Okay, so first of all, let's link these things together. Okay, the NDEB now does ACS in universities. Okay, so what's the experience? First of all, booking the seats, right? Booking things. That's one problem. And I don't mean by us booking the exam. I mean the NDEB booking the university, saying we want to take this day, these 2 days, and we want to make sure there's no one there. We want all the chairs, this stuff. So booking the universities is a limiting factor for the NDEB to allow us to take the exam. The other thing is, when COVID happened, now the NDEB itself was kind of under the mercy of, depending on what the university wants to do. So if the university itself says, hey, we can't have the NDEB ACS exam here because of COVID, because of certain outbreaks, then now it's not the NDEB's fault anymore. They have to cancel, or because the university canceled. So that's why I think the NDEB thought, you know what, for ACS, we need to do our own center. Here's my question, okay? Are they only going to have that center, or is it going to be that center plus the universities? That I still don't know, and I'm interested in seeing. So if we go back, I have some points here about this. Oh, and the other point they mentioned, and this is going to be, everyone, this is going to be in 2022 as well. I know it's a bit messy here. So 2022, that's why I'm going to make this in green. Okay. All right. So pretty much this is going to be in 2022, and they're going to do multiple exams throughout the year. I wonder how that's going to play out. So, okay, so let's go look at their, scroll down on their website again. So you can see here, right here, it's saying, getting construction in Ontario. So it is a control build. This will allow the NDEB to administer the new ACS in a controlled purpose-built testing environment on a regular basis throughout the year. That means it's probably going to happen more than twice a year. So there's a lot of things here like that I kind of want to unpack. So let's talk about, okay, the unlimited attempts and maybe unlimited exams. Okay, unlimited attempts, unlimited exams. More people will pass through the ACS. Okay, so okay guys, point 1 you guys got it, point 2, point 3. So let's focus. I'm going to clear this page and just focus on the ACS part. Okay, so let's talk about point 3, right? We said that the ACS is going to get a new unlimited exams, unlimited attempts for students, no E's, right? Or one E equals a failure allowed, for example, let's say that. New ACS center in Ottawa, right? Then you have possible new requirements. And then you have possibly almost, unlimited, let's say, or frequent or increased ACS exams throughout the year. So maybe they do one every month. Okay, maybe. Who knows? Okay, so if you look at this now, this is giving. So if people go from AFK, right, they're going then to ACJ, and because of COVID, they're stuck here at ACS. Okay, from here till 2022, there's people are going to pass the AFK, and then people are now at ACJ are going to pass that, and then there's going to be even more flow getting into the ACS. So there's going to be a huge, bottleneck here. A lot of people getting there, and I think the NDEB is planning to make sure there is a flow through the ACS. Now, my question is that are not answered is, what's the price of ACS exam? This is something I want to find out later on when it happens. And the other question is, what was I saying here? Oh, are they still going to use universities? Okay, because it'll make a difference. Now, obviously, the NDEB may kind of, it's more beneficial for it that you book more exams, you fail, you book more, possibly, right? But also, like, you know, you have to look at the goods and the bads here. I mean, no ease. I mean, I can't say that's a terrible thing. I know it's harder, but also, you know, like, do you maybe as when you do like procedures, the way they stated it is, if it's a procedure that's non-reversible, like, should you fail in it? Like, you shouldn't fail in it and then pass the exam. So I guess I could justify that, right? Saying that, you know, in ACS, when you're cutting teeth, when you're doing that stuff, you could have these, but you shouldn't have E's. Okay, so it changes a lot of things. But yeah, like, I can't say it's hard to say that's a bad thing. You know, you have to practice and really be good at the skills part. So okay, sure, unlimited attempts, I think that's a really good thing for us. You know, when you finish AFK and ACJ and you get to ACS, it's annoying that if you do, like, that's very frustrating that you lose all your attempts at the last step. So thank you, that's a good thing, NDEB, right? The E's, I get it, that's annoying. Yeah, you know, you should deserve one E, you're thinking, but you know, that's the game now. New ACS center. Now, this question just makes me think, well, are they still going to use universities? If they are, then now they're increasing the capacity of how many people they could take in. So let's say they were able to take 1,000 people, right? And now they have their new ACS center in Ottawa. Maybe they could take 1,500 people. I don't know how big the ACS place, but that's not even that doesn't even matter, because even if they didn't do universities, if they have now, let's say, 20 exams a year, and they could only take 500 people in their center, then, you know, that's going to be huge, right? Even if they take 100, then it's still more, let's say, than what they have right now with the universities. So doing the exam frequently is really good for moving the students to pass the ACS. The course structures are going to change now, because usually courses are built toward the exam. Like, you do a 5-month course for the exam. So it's going to be weird how the whole course structure is going to be. And as you know, we already are working on a course structure in ACS online with Dr. Firas. So you could check that out if you want online help for ACS, something to help you get ready for it if you are, you know, preparing from home. But it's interesting how that's going to play out. Okay. And the price is important, because now people, yeah, it's harder to pass one exam. Like, it's hard to pass the ACS, but you have unlimited attempts. But if it's still 10,000, then it's a problem, right? So I'm hoping maybe if they are not using the universities, maybe they could reduce the price. I don't know. We'll have to wait on those two things. And also the new requirements. Does that mean different teeth? Maybe they don't use Kilgore teeth anymore. Maybe they do. I don't know what's going to happen there. Again, we're going to wait and see about that. So guys, again, I tried to break this down, unpack it, and see how it affects us. The only one thing that you may find negative in this is just the no ease part, right? This part. This is the only thing that's actually going to make it more difficult for you to pass and finish the process. Everything else seems good. Maybe you could say the new requirements. Okay, so we don't know what does that entail? Because courses have to change their structure. There's a lot of change that may happen, right? That's why in AFK and ACJ, you know, mainly AFK, that foundation is always the same. Wherever you go, mostly similar. If you go to the US, you're going to do the exam. It's like the same kind of main knowledge, right? But when it comes to ACJ, it's similar in Canada. Sometimes it may change, but ACS, well, they could introduce a whole new project. What if they say they want, you know, a class 3 filling, for example, and they want a class 4 prep? Like, I don't know what they're gonna do. So we gotta see how it plays out. That's it, I think. If you guys have any opinions about this, please leave them in the comments. It'll be cool. We'll make a discussion. I would like to hear what you guys think. Tell me if you think, am I wrong in something? Am I right in something? I just believe that the only negative really is the no ease part. That's the only part that's going to make it difficult. All that other stuff about AFK reducing it to 200 being difficult, I don't think that's going to affect anybody. It's actually easier now. That's less headache for you. And that's all, everyone. So let me see here. I don't see anything else. And if you look at what's the latest update here on their news, it's the NDECC 2021. This is the specialty exam opening on March 1, 2021 for registration. Some people contact me about the specialty exam, and it's kind of a combination between AFK and ACS, so they do consider taking AFK or ACS courses. But again, I'm just that's the last news. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. When there's another update, I'll try to do these more frequently so that I could unpack all the concepts and analyze them, and we could kind of discuss them in the comments together and see how it affects everybody. I hope everybody and wish everybody success in this journey, and try to always look at the bright side, because hopefully that will help you move forward with it, and try not to get stuck and be negative about everything that's happening around you. Try to look at the bright. That's all I can say. It'll make it better for you. All right. Thank you, everybody. And again, ScholarsDental, if you like more of these, tell us if you have any video you want us to make, for example, and visit our website, scholarsdental.com, if you have any questions, or if you want to book a consult, we do that as well. And see you in the next video. Goodbye.